ready, fire, aim, or ready, aim, 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 and you're still aiming 3 years later, but you keep finding an excuse why not to. How about finding an excuse to? When I say this is my last podcast, kinda, it is my last podcast upstairs in the Roots. I put on a note card 6 things that had to happen in order for me to potentiate an additional $10,000 a month just to stay where I was at. Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And my friends, buckle up your bootstraps today. As a matter of fact, I'm a bit emotional. This right here is my last podcast. Kinda. This today is my last podcast in the Roots. Since 2021, I've been recording here in the Roots of Fitness Quest 10. What is the Roots, you ask? If you've never been here, the Roots is my original location that I've had for over 25 years. Upstairs, second floor. In 2005, we expanded downstairs to the lower facility. But this has always been home. This is where I started. And in just a matter of moments, I want to share with you for the last time. This is the last recording here, as I'll be moving out of the Roots. And I want to share my top 10 reflections and memories on 25 years in the Roots. And there's been some amazing experiences, memories, lives changed, the thousands of lives that were changed right here in the Roots on that. And before I dive in, 2 things. Number one, I want to say thank you for, what is this, 340 something episodes later since I started this bad boy podcast. No, this is not the last podcast episode. It's just the last podcast episode that I'll be recording from the Roots. And I'll be moving that to another location, which I'll talk about. And I want to say thank you for always listening in on this, because I shared way back in the beginning in episode 1 and 2. If you never listened to episode 1 and 2, I said, I'm always going to be real. I'm always going to be transparent and genuine and share the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And this, well, I'll just say is going to be an emotional episode for me because of how much history I have with the Roots of when I started. And you'll hear this in my top 10 memories of this. Also, number 2, is if you have not listened to Reinvention, my Reinvention 1.0, this is, I'm going to call it 2.0, and it will be a process over the next several weeks and months because I don't know the end yet. But what I'll share is, if you have not listened to the Reinvention 1.0, go back and listen to episodes 301 through 306. 301 through 306. I did it a couple years ago when I shared all that was going on, and there was a lot that was going on as I was reinventing myself post-pandemic. I just had my second knee replacement. My back pain was killing me. It was 2021 and 2022, and I was in bad pain, really bad pain. They told me I needed a 14-hour back surgery that I still have not had because my pain went away, which I talk about how this all went away and all of this stuff. I got diagnosed with sleep apnea, which was the culmination of 3.5 years of what I call hell. Fortunately, was diagnosed with sleep apnea, which was the beginning of this new reinvention then. Because I was burnt out. I was exhausted after 25 years of being in the industry. And at that point, about 23 years of being here at Fitness Quest 10, I sold a big portion of Fitness Quest 10 thinking I was done, literally done, figuratively done. And I wasn't, but for 3.5 years, I was really, really battling a lot. And, well, it leads me to Reinvention 2.0. And this is based on what my Reinvention 1.0 led to. It led to today and what I'm about to share over these next several weeks and months of this reinvention, because I feel in so many ways there are many people who are reinventing themselves right now. And for me just a year ago in 2024. I've shared with you many times, if you've been an avid listener of the podcast, in 2024, just about a year ago, I started my Impact X Performance Fitness and Recovery concept that I'm now scaling across the country. We have 6 locations that just launched last year. And, well, it brings me up to right now and some of the big decisions I'm making. One of those decisions recently was I had the decision of upstairs, which my name was on the lease upstairs here in the Roots. Was I going to renew my lease upstairs in the Roots? Because the landlord wanted a 3-year lease minimum. And I had a decision to make. I'm either staying here in the Roots for another 3 years, or I'm going to move on. But I don't know where moving on is to yet. That was the decision. And for many weeks and months, I have contemplated it. I have talked it through with my advisors and mentors. And ultimately, long story short, I have decided to move on, to move out of the Roots and to move elsewhere. And for me, this will be the first time in over 25, almost 26 years that I will not be in the Roots for my office. And when I say this is my last podcast, kinda, it is my last podcast upstairs in the Roots. But as always, I love sharing on this podcast. And again, I've done a lot of these, but I am going to be moving out of the Roots, where I've podcasted since 2021. And the good news is this is not my last podcast. Thank you. It's just the last one I'll be doing here. Also, Fitness Quest 10, we will be renovating upstairs. So all of the Roots will be renovated. It has never had a major renovation, but my office is going to be changing. Everything up here is going to be changing. And my business partner, Jeff, is going to be doing some major renovations upstairs here in the Roots. That being said, I will still be training at Fitness Quest 10. I just won't be podcasting or running all my stuff out of here. A few things I want to point out before I share my top 10 memories and reflections on the Roots. And there are some classic ones. Some will make me laugh. Some will make me cry, literally. But just remember this for you, all of you who are vested and emotionally tied to certain things, people, places in their life. Number one, all good things must come to an end. And I view that as this. The Roots, I love it. It has served me really, really, really well. And I'm so grateful for all the people who have come through these doors between mentorships and masterminds and clients and customers and all of that. But all good things must come to an end. Number two, it's time to move onward and upward. And I have a vision, I have a dream of what this 2.0 version is going to look like. I'll share it throughout this series. This is a series. And I don't know the end answer yet, but I believe over the next several months, as I move out of here and into the next iteration, I'm going to be sharing the raw emotions, not every week, but on the Reinvention Series episodes that'll be coming up. Again, there'll be certain episodes will be Reinvention episodes. I'll be sharing the guts of what does moving onward and upward look like. Because number three, it's emotional. And it's never easy to give up anything, especially when you've been doing it or been here for 25 years like I have. It's emotional. And moving out, what you see behind me, if you're watching on YouTube right now, all of this will not look like this exactly, or it will not be here over the next several months and where I eventually end up. But most importantly, last and final, number four, why I'm doing this is because God is telling me to do it. God's telling me it's time. It's time to move on, onward and upward, young man. And that's what I'm hearing and have been hearing and journaling and praying, like I've been asking y'all to do, is spend time in quiet time and silence. You've been hearing this. Is in my quiet time, God's telling me it's time to move on and trust Him and the plan of what is about to come. While it has not yet been completely revealed to me, I do know that I trust Him, and I'm being obedient to that. And in this Reinvention 2.0 series, I'll certainly be sharing that with you here, my loyal podcast listeners. Now, do realize this. We've got some great things going on inside of the coaching world, which really excites me. So before I go into my top 10 reflections on this, I was thinking about, okay, in this interim period that I'm entering into, number one, the coaching that I'm doing right now is bringing me tremendous fulfillment. The people who I'm working with, first in my mastermind group of fit pros, all the fit pros who I get to coach several times a month, and my coaches get to work with, I'm tremendously grateful for. If you're a fit pro and you need some more mentorship and guidance, I'd be honored to work with you in the mastermind. This is the core of what I do and have been doing for 19 years. Literally 19 years, the mastermind has been in existence. And I've been coaching in the Todd Durkin mastermind group for that time, and still am. And it's basically the core of what I do. Of course, the Get Your Mind Right Mindset coaching certification, which I launched this summer of 25, is just awesome. We've got 60 plus Get Your Mind Right coaches right now. I believe in this vertical that is being created, that mindset coaching for our young kids and athletes is more prevalent today and will be. And I love the coaching that my business partner, Andrew Simpson, and I are doing in that program. And I'll be doing much more of that to come as well in the GYMR mindset coaching. Of course, you've probably been hearing we've got our Impact Life Coaching program coming up here in October. And as I record this now, weeks before that, Impact Life Coaching, I started a couple years ago in my own metamorphosis that started from Whitefish, Montana, 2 years ago, when I decided I wanted to create a life coaching certification program, because as a personal trainer and strength and conditioning coach who was evolving into not just doing coaching in that realm, but also in the life coaching and business coaching realm, we created that. And now proudly with over 70 life coaches, it's awesome to be launching our third cohort here in October of people who want to go into the life coaching world. And then lastly, you've been hearing all about it here on the podcast and everywhere else. You think about the world of coaching, where I'm spending a lot of my time in coaching, is Montana retreat. For those of you, several of you have already signed up. So congratulations. It's going to be the time of your life. If you are not yet signed up, you still have time. Sign up. I couldn't be more excited for the Montana retreat. This is not just for those in my coaching program. There'll probably be about 50% of those people in my coaching program. There are people who listen to this podcast who I've never met before, who will be going to Whitefish, Montana with me November 13th to the 16th. And I welcome you to strongly consider being in the room. When you talk about reinvention, the theme of this is called Ignite. And I am looking to ignite you to the next level as 2025 comes to a rapid close here soon, and 2026 will be right around the corner. So you have this opportunity, all my coaching wrapping up in a live event. I love live events. I'm always like, be in the room. Trust me, when you're in the room, don't look at all the things you got to do or the excuses you can't make it because of this and that. Just find a way to be in the room, just like my guy Jeremy Gritton last year, who was burnt out, exhausted, days away from going BK, bankrupt, got in the room, and now, less than a year later, is at record levels in his business. And of course, that's transcended into his personal life because he was in the room. I can't wait for Montana. And one more thing I do want to share, and it's part of the Reinvention series here, with all of the coaching that I've got going on. And one of the reasons why I have decided not to renew my lease here in the Roots personally is because I am looking at opening up an Impact X Performance in San Diego in 2026. Now, I can't tell you where or when that's going to be happening, but I'm praying that the right spot opens up. I'm praying that the right team appears. I don't have a team that would be helping me open up yet because I don't have that news to share with you today. I'm sharing with you openly that my intention, my strong intention from what message I'm getting from above is it's time. It's time for me to take IXP, Impact X Performance, and open it in San Diego. And I'm going to assemble a team at some point this fall, this winter, Q4, Q1, whenever God reveals where and when. So I don't have news on that, but I'm putting it out there as I always do. I'm a big believer in setting intentions and sharing them openly so I can speak it into life. And right now on my Todd Durkin Impact Show, I'm speaking it into life that in 2026, we will have an Impact X Performance in San Diego. And I'll keep you posted. Again, I don't have that news today. But part of my reinvention in coaching is that everything is going to go through IXP San Diego, and there will be no ifs, ands, or buts about how and where I'm doing that. And I hope to report back to you here in the future. But that being said, today is not the day to be looking forward per se. I want to look back, and I want to share my top 10 reflections on what is soon coming to an end here in the Roots. And I have so many memories with so many great people, and it always is about the people. And I have some people been with me for more than 15 years, some close to 20 years. Julie Wilcox, Janet Bertrand, Ryan Rogers, more than 20 years, Jeff King, these men and women, Brett Klicka, who you recently heard on the podcast, these men and women, many of them have been with me for over 20 years on this. 15, 20 years is crazy. But today, my top 10 memories and reflections on 25 years in the Roots here at Fitness Quest 10. I call them the Roots because we've expanded several times, but this is the Roots. And where I'm at right now is in the Roots. So in no particular order, here we go. Number one. This makes me laugh. Reggie Bush puking off the balcony and it landing on someone down below. Imagine this. All right, let me tell this story. So I'm training LaDainian Tomlinson. LT was the star running back for the San Diego Chargers. Yes, I said San Diego Chargers. And Reggie was at the time in college at USC. He was a standout high school running back at Helix High School here in San Diego, went to USC, was the Heisman Trophy winner at USC. Yes, Heisman Trophy winner. He does have the Heisman. But LaDainian was his guy, and he looked up to LaDainian. So they forged a relationship where LaDainian mentored him and took him under his wing. So one day LaDainian says, hey, I invited Reggie to come up to the workout. I said, absolutely, let's go. So they're on the treadmill warming up. They're just, doing a jog. And I go over to Reggie. I'm like, hey, Reggie, here, what I want you to do is don't try to keep up with LaDainian in this workout. Because, guys, LaDainian kept a torrid pace. His pace was insane. Like, I'd never seen the level of intensity from an athlete as I had seen in LaDainian Tomlinson. So I'm warning Reggie not to keep up with LaDainian, but I know he's an athlete. This is his hero. Him growing up, like LaDainian was the star running back in the NFL. And Reggie's like, no, of course, Todd, I'm not going to keep up with him. I'm not going to try to do that. And well, Reggie tried to keep up with LaDainian, and 15 minutes into the workout, Reggie walks out on the balcony. Now we're on the second floor. If you've never been here, the Roots is on the second floor. I see him walk outside onto the balcony, and he's off the balcony puking, projectile puking. Well, there's people down below. And like, hey, there's Reggie Bush. And all of a sudden it's like raining. It's raining lactic acid out of the air. And I'll never forget. I was trying to train LaDainian. I'm trying to tend to Reggie. I'm trying to like appease the people down below. I'm pulling my hair out. I had a lot of hair then. And I'm like, oh my gosh. One of my top memories right there. Reggie Bush puking off the balcony. Number 9, if you will, or the second one I'm sharing. I got to go. I'm going to stick in the same genre here. Training LaDainian Tomlinson for the first time. Man, oh man. And I'm not going to go through the story, but I'll fast forward the story of I worked with Vaughn Parker in bodywork. My table broke in half, which led to me doing what I'll call Thai massage of walking on Vaughn Parker, the starting left tackle for the San Diego Chargers. He loved the Thai massage that I knew nothing about other than watching the VHS tape on Thai massage the week before. I did 45 minutes of it. He's like, this is great. I next end up with the San Diego Chargers doing bodywork and flexibility as the team massage therapist for the San Diego Chargers in the early 2000s. That's where I met LaDainian, and LaDainian said, I'd like to come in and train with you because I hear you do this thing called, quote, functional training. I said, absolutely, LaDainian, love to work with you. And when LaDainian came in, I still to this day remember driving down Scripps Ranch Boulevard in my beat up old Volvo, 87 Volvo, velour hanging down. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do with this guy? Like, he's the star running back. What am I going to do with him? And I'll never forget him telling me on day number one is, I want to be one of the best running backs to ever play the game. I studied Walter. I studied Emmett, studied Barry. I want to be one of the best to ever play the game. I want to run like a scared rabbit. I need some help in maximizing my potential. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could feel the butterflies in my stomach. Like, what am I going to do with this guy? So I had him take off his shoes. I had him do this one-legged balance touch test. And the next thing you know, he did 32 on one side. And then he did 23 on the other side. I immediately saw an imbalance between his hips. And I was having him close his eyes. And which way does he like to cut? And of course, he liked to cut off the hip and off the side that was stronger and more efficient in that. And I said, if I'm a defensive coordinator and I am going against you, what side, if I'm smart and watch my film, which D coordinators in the NFL do, what side do you think I'm going to take away? That's right. You always love to cut to your right, my left. He's like, you're right. I'm like, we got to correct this imbalance. And the next thing you know, for the next 9 years, LaDainian and I, we worked. And we worked and we worked. And let me tell you what, we didn't use a lot of fancy equipment. Matter of fact, I had all refurbished equipment. I had carpet on the floor. I had nothing fancy, guys. I've always said I could train people in a parking lot. And LaDainian Thomason was no different, because when you have the drive and the work ethic and the desire, the attitude to show up and never miss a session in 9 years or be late to a session in 9 years, great things happen. And LaDainian Thomason, from the first time I ever worked with him until the day he was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, was just a pure blessing to work with. And he put me on the map. And that was my second memory reflection, looking back on 25 years in the roots of, man, I give LaDainian so much credit for giving me the opportunity to train him and work with him and be open and receptive to new ideas and philosophies inside of fitness that didn't really exist at that time. My third memory, or if you're going down in order, 10, 9, 8, the eighth, in no particular order, is training his quarterback for the first time as well. His quarterback, drafted in the same year, second round pick, first pick in the second round, was a guy by the name of Drew Brees. Now, most of you know Drew because Drew and I are still training to this day. I still work with him when he's in town. And man, 23 years later, here we are training. But I'll never forget training Drew for the first time, because now it's LaDainian and Drew training together. And here's what I was doing and why I share the memory is thinking, hey, I was a quarterback. I always want to be an NFL quarterback. And now I was hurt because of my back injury. I shared that way back in the episodes of my back injury that led me into fitness and conditioning and opening up my own business. But here I was working with an NFL athlete. I always wanted to be an NFL quarterback, and here I'm working with an NFL quarterback. So I had Drew lie sideways on a Bosu, top leg back. I'm going to pin down both of his ankles with my hands. So I'm holding his ankles. He's sideways, top leg back on a Bosu. His top arm is up and over his head, and his underhand is across his belly button. And I have him do what I call Bosu side-ups. Bosu side-ups. And I'll never forget, I had him do 10 Bosu side-ups and then hold halfway up on the last one. He could hardly do the 10, and he was extremely weak on both sides of the core, especially his non-throwing side. So the side that he, if he's a right-handed quarterback, typically your left side is going to be a little bit stronger because you're rotating to the left. Well, his left side was actually strong. His right side was extremely weak, imbalanced, just like LaDainian, imbalanced. I saw a major imbalance in his core. So we started to go after that. Light bulb moment for Drew, just like the light bulb moment for LaDainian when he saw that one-legged balanced touch test. Drew, when he came in, saw this major imbalance in his core. I'm like, listen, if we can get our core strong, that's going to be crucial because core represents 60% of the power of throwing. So you cut off your arms, you cut off your legs. That is your core. And we got to get our core strong because we train proximal to distal, proximal distal. It doesn't matter how strong your legs are, your arms are. We have to have your core strong so that we work proximal to distal, belly button on out, front to back, left, right, up, down, and sideways is the core. Well, 23 years later, Drew and I are still going at it, still having fun. And we just got a great workout in for the last time in the roots. And let me tell you, my friends, Drew Brees is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2026. And I couldn't be more excited and proud. And in so many ways, it's like not just a great friend and one of my best friends, but it's like a son in some ways because he was a young puppy. I was a young puppy when we got started. And as a mentor, I'm just really, really proud. And certainly one of my top memories was the first time I worked with Drew. Number four. You're going to like this, ladies. Ladies are going to love this one. Fellas, I don't know. The Diamond Girl coming into the gym to show me the rings. What is that? The Diamond Girl coming in. Well, let me just share something personal with y'all. When I started Fitness Quest 10, I was single. I was dating this woman who was what I call the hot aerobics instructor from grad school, who was, she had these beautiful calves, a beautiful smile. She had this smile that lit up a room. And I was working with my first client I ever worked with at Fitness Quest 10. Her name is Donna Dickinson. Donna Dickinson still continues to train at Fitness Quest 10. And we have a scholarship in her name. And Donna Dickinson has trained with more of my trainers, massage therapists, Pilates instructors than anyone alive because she's worked with all of them. And there have been hundreds of employees that have come through here in 25 plus years. But Donna said something I'll never forget. And I'll share with you young folks or old folks who are looking to get engaged someday. And she said, Todd, there's no perfect person out there. I'm not sure what you're waiting for, but you got someone pretty darn good. And I was 29 years old at the time and I was single. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. At that time, it's like you find what might be wrong with someone or what's not perfect with people. And I look back now like what a bonehead I was. Melanie, my now wife, who we dated for a few years prior to our marriage, I just wasn't even thinking about it because I was in business mode and I was I don't know what's going to happen. So I had the Diamond Girl come in to the gym between all my sessions because I was doing about 40 sessions a week, on the hour, every hour. So I had this Diamond Girl come in and she brought this box of diamonds. I put the diamonds out all over the Pilates, what's called the Cadillac. And I was looking at these diamonds. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's thousands of dollars of diamonds here. Now, different era, because this was year 2000. I just opened Fitness Quest 10 because we got married in 2001. And I'll never forget, I bought a diamond that day, and it was a few $1,000s. And I'm like, man, looking back, I should have got a couple of those diamonds. But the Diamond Girl coming in the gym to show me the rings was just one of those things that have cemented. Now I'm going on the year 25 of marriage, guys, 25 years of marriage. And there's no more important decision than who you marry. And I was fortunate that Donna Dickinson spoke life into me like, yo, knucklehead, what are you waiting on? Go, get married, would you? And I listened to Donna. And sure enough, I'm blessed to have Melanie as the mother of our three wonderful children and my wife of now almost 25 years. February 26th, it'll be 25 years, which is crazy. Fifth memory, my boom box. My boom box. Now you got to go back in time a little bit. If you remember boom boxes, when I used to do my TD fitness classes, and I taught about 7 myself each and every week, but all the other TD fitness classes, we didn't have a sound system. We had a boom box, and I'd have the CDs playing on the boom box. And that boom box became infamous. Why? Because if you were here for an hour, which most people were, you could bet your bottom dollar that every other hour there was some form of Rocky playing on the boombox. The Rocky IV soundtrack, the Rocky IV highlights was on that CD. No doubt the CD was going to be playing on the boombox, and that boombox lasted for many, many years until one day it broke, and I was devastated. It was like someone had died. I was so devastated when the boombox died, and I got to tell you, it was one of my top memories was the boombox. Closely related, number 6. I'd have these crazy TD fitness classes going on in 1,000 square foot space. 1,000 square foot space. If you know the roots, you know how small it is. Right next to what was called Svarupa Yoga. Svarupa. Have you ever heard of it? Yeah, I didn't think so. It's the gentlest, quietest, softest kind of yoga you can have. Why? Because I had met a Svarupa Yoga person, and I thought it would be a great counterbalance to my yang energy would be Svarupa Yoga for the yin energy. The problem was we had a class at the same time of my TD fitness class with the boombox. We'd have Svarupa Yoga going on, and it was only separated by a darn curtain. A white curtain went across the room, and we had Svarupa Yoga on one side and the TD fitness class on the other side. Let's just say it didn't work out too well. we had diehard folks coming in to both classes, but they'd both be kind of angry that the Svarupa Yoga be hearing my Rocky IV soundtrack as they're trying to lie in Savasana and meditate about the outside world, noise on the outside world, and how you need to quiet the inside. And I'm laughing thinking about it because I'll never forget the instructor finally saying, this just isn't going to work anymore. I said, no, it's not. We're going to have to stop doing this class. And we did. And there's no more Svarupa Yoga. So that's number 6. Number 7. This goes back a ways, but these are little memorabilias. We had 2 massage rooms here in the Roots, and it was the green room and the blue room. Now, I'm going back to any of the oldies from Fitness Quest 10. Does anyone remember the green room and the blue room signs? If you do, my good family friend, Susan Schnabel, made these signs for me as a gift when I opened in year 2000. Now, you got to remember, in year 2000, I combined my passion for bodywork as a rolfer, structural integration, sports massage. I was doing 10 to 15 hours a week of hands-on massage and bodywork, along with all of my training as well. So she made me these cool signs, the blue room and the green room, that just became something really special. And for many, many years, like a decade plus, I continued to do hands-on massage therapy in these 2 rooms. And we had massage therapists as well, because I still love massage and body work and believe in it wholeheartedly as well. So it's just a great memory on that. Number 8 goes way back as well. As a matter of fact, goes out before I even opened the Roots, 1999. I'm not sure why a lot of these memories go way back, because I think sometimes when you reflect back in the beginning, you thought how hard it was, but looking back, how simple it was. Does that make sense? How hard it was, but how simple it was on that. Matter of fact, guys, as I record this podcast, Donna Dickinson, come here, just came in the room. That's a godsend. Come here, Donna. I'm recording a podcast. Just say hello. We're recording a podcast. Come around. Because I was just bragging on Donna, and Donna told me that I don't know if you remember telling me this. You said, Todd, there's no perfect women in the world. What are you waiting on? Why don't you get Melanie a ring? Do you remember that?
I do remember that. And I said, you make your own perfect.
You make your own perfect. And here she is 25 years later. And she literally was walking by right now up in the roots. My last pot.
I know. Oh. Oh.
My last podcast ever recording from up here. Now, she created everything I'm looking at up here. And she just happened to walk by while I'm recording this? Is that a coincidence? No, that's not a coincidence, my friends. Donna, I can't believe you just walked by while I'm recording this. But thank you, because I was just talking about you.
Okay, so we'll see you on the next podcast, wherever.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll be talking. I love you. Wow.
Love you too.
Wow. Whew. Huh. Isn't it funny how life works, man? Dang. Whew. That was coincidental or not? They say coincidence are nothing more than miracles where God wants to remain anonymous. And that was a miracle where God wants to remain anonymous. That was crazy. Where was I at? Man, 1999, before I opened Fitness Quest 10, Melanie and I were up here painting the rooms ourselves with our dog Sid. We have Jersey dog now. He's at almost 11 years old. But Sid was my first golden retriever. Jersey is my second. And one of my fondest memories and reflections on 25 years is Melanie and I. It seemed so simple, but it wasn't. We had nothing. And we're starting out in 1999. We're painting the rooms. We couldn't afford a painter. So we're doing the green room and the blue room and all this. And I remember looking back how young we looked. But man, it seems so crazy that we're opening this business. And next thing you know, it took off. And I'll never forget that. That's number 8. Number 9 is September 11th, 2001, 9/11. I never forget driving up to Fitness Quest 10 about 9:20 in the morning and hearing the news on the radio in my car about what happened with the Twin Towers back in New York. And next thing I know, there was this really small TV I had up in the roots here, and this TV was, I don't know, it was like 12 inches. It wasn't big at all. It was up in the corner, and this was the original layout of Fitness Quest 10. And man, it was crazy. But what happened was everyone started congregating within an hour. Everyone was congregating at Fitness Quest 10. Before you know it, there was 20, 25 people at the gym. It's year 2001. We're a little over a year in, about almost 2 years into the business, and people were just gathering, coming from all over. And I realized something, that this was the gathering spot, the community, right? And I, to this day, love that Fitness Quest 10 is a community. I love what these different coaching communities that I've created over the last 19 years have become, and what Impact X Performance is now becoming in a national level with a community, in this podcast community. Because the same thing happened in 2003 with the Scripps Ranch fires. I live in a community called Scripps Ranch. Fitness Quest 10 is in Scripps Ranch. And we had these fires in 2003 that knocked out, I believe, over 500 homes were destroyed in a fire here in 2003, close to it if it wasn't 500. Many, many homes. But once again, much of the congregation and healing happened right here at the sanctuary. And I love that, because that represents community, and it's something I'll never forget. And I'm fortunate that I'll still be part of Fitness Quest 10 community. But as I look to grow the Impact X Performance community nationally, that we're looking to create that lighthouse community also. And then lastly, I gotta just share this is the expansions. Number 10 is the expansions, twice, not once, but twice. Hopefully soon to be 3 times in some ways, but twice. First, 2002, I took over a breast pump rental store. Literally, a breast pump rental store. It gave us an extra 1,000 square feet. I don't know if there weren't enough babies being born or women that needed breast pumps, but for whatever reason, it was going out of business. I took it over. We made that Fitness Quest 10. And then a few years later, we took over downstairs an old, dank, dark, smelly 7-Eleven. It required $500,000 to build it. And guys, I don't know if you've ever been through an expansion, but it was scary. And even when the numbers make sense, meaning, okay, I know I can do this, but I got to do it. My vision had grown. I was scared. I was excited. I did the numbers. But what I relegated it to, and here's a little coaching tip on the finances. I had read the book Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. And we've read that book, Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. So what I had done was I put on a note card 6 things that had to happen in order for me to potentiate an additional $10,000 a month just to stay where I was at. To break even, I had to generate $10,000 or more a month to stay even to go through this expansion. So I wrote on this note card, a mastermind group of fit pros, an apparel deal. I needed to increase my rates. I was going to create a series of DVDs. I was going to create a group here at Fitness Quest 10 of a small handful of groups and do higher level coaching. And I was going to start to speak even more, like keynote speaking. Guys, within 6 months of writing this down, all 6 of them came true. When I say speak it into existence, even back in 2005, 2006, this was going on. So when I said a mastermind group of fit pros, I created a mastermind group of fit pros, still have it today, still work with fit pros today. And 19 years later, here we are on that. And we started with the Dirty Dozen, with the Knights of the Round Table with 12 people. Apparel deal. Well, 6 months after writing it down, I got a deal with Under Armour. Yeah, Under Armour, guys. How'd that happen? Because I was at the Pro Bowl in Hawaii because Drew had just blown out his shoulder in a recent NFL season. He brought my family and I to Hawaii because of the hard work we had done so he could get back into having an NFL MVP caliber season. He was the runner-up to his training partner, LaDainian Tomlinson, who was the MVP in the 2006 season. And next thing you know, I ran into a guy from Under Armour on the sideline at one of the practices, pitched him my idea, and just months later, I had my Under Armour deal, and I'm still with Under Armour and so grateful for UA and all they've done in my entire career to be associated with such a leading brand as Under Armour. That happened because of an intention on a note card. I increased my rates from $75 to $150. Don't let me underestimate that, guys. I doubled my rate. You know how scary that is to double your rate? You got 40 clients and you're like, hey, by the way, I'm doubling my rate. Please don't say, well, yeah, but Todd, you this and you that. No. Think back where I was at because I wanted to grow the team. So I wanted to, quote, outprice myself in some ways. And guess what happened? I didn't. People are like, okay, I'll keep working with you. So I'm not telling you to double your rate. I'm just saying what I did. And next thing I know, it's 2005-06. I doubled my rate. And I'm like, wow, here we are. I created a series of strength and conditioning DVDs. Y'all remember DVDs? Somebody like, what's a DVD? Man, I had VHS tapes that went to DVD, and I had my OPB, Optimal Performance Bodywork. I had 3 of them, OPB videos and then DVDs, but I created 7 of the strength and conditioning DVDs. Number 1 was dynamic warm-up. We had joint integrity, number 2. We had the third DVD was core conditioning. The 4th and 5th, we had strength and conditioning, functional strength of the lower body, and then functional strength of the upper body. On that, the 6th DVD was power and plyometrics. Love that one. Power and plyometrics. And then 7th was flexibility and mobility. Flexibility and mobility was the 7th one, and corrective exercise. We then had to take that on to streaming, right? So you can stream it now. But the content even then was awesome. And then the last two was I created the Power of 10 group. I'm like, I'm going to get 10 people that want to pay $1,000 a month, and I'm going to coach them. Besides fitness, I didn't call it life coaching at the time, but I was going to go deeper on health, fitness, life in all ways. And that's where I started to create now my proprietary information, such as the 10 forms of wealth, the 3 and 30, all of the things I share in now my God-sized dreams system. I started that in like 2006 because I started doing it myself through the coaching that I was receiving. And I started thinking about how can I do this with my own people and create something that I could replicate over and over. That was 2006 when that was starting. And then lastly, in order to generate another $10,000 a month to support the $500,000 expansion, was to speak in the fitness industry and do more keynotes. So it really was around 2006 that I started to pick up my speaking, because I was just training at the time. And since that time, obviously, first it was Spry products and then became Perform Better. And getting on the Perform Better tour was like a major win, because this is where all the big presenters were speaking, and Idea World. And many of you have been that if you're a Fit Pro. You used to go to the Idea shows, and I was starting to do keynotes. And the last 10 years, take out the COVID couple years, in doing more and more keynotes to non-fitness companies, has been a passion of mine. I was dabbling with it before 2006, but since that time. So I share that because those are my top 10 memories and reflections on Fitness Quest 10 and the Roots, because in 2021, I rebranded upstairs here in the Roots, and we made this a podcast studio in my office, and it's time to expand again. And decisions are looming. Like, number one, first step is I'm not renewing the lease. I want to expand, but I don't want to expand and stay here. I want to grow. And sometimes in order to grow and expand, you got to contract. Sometimes you got to contract a little first. You got to really narrow down and focus. So I've decided that's what I'm doing. And I want to reiterate a few things I said earlier in the show that maybe you can resonate with. Number one, God told me to move on. I'm still going to train and teach a class at Fitness Quest 10. I love my Wednesday night class. You ever want to come in? You're in SoCal, please come on in on that. I love to teach, and I don't ever want to stop teaching. Matter of fact, my hope is someday in 26, I'm going to be teaching even more again, because so much of my soul is when I'm in session. I love that. Even as our company and business has grown, I still love that. But I know it's time for the next chapter. So I do believe that it will be an Impact X performance. I believe it'll be in San Diego. I believe there'll be more Impact X performances in 2026 that will expand and grow. And if you're interested in partnering with me, please reach out. This is where my focus is right now. And I'm hoping it's going to happen for me here soon. And I'll report back when it does. Nothing yet, but stay tuned. And hopefully I have something throughout this series. Number two is that energy shifts and seasons change. Energy shifts and seasons change. And I got to tell you, I love the Roots and I love Fitness Quest 10. It's my firstborn son in so many ways. And I'm proud. I'm proud of what Fitness Quest 10 is. I love what Jeff Bristol is doing and what the team is doing. But there are times when you gotta move to the next chapter. And sometimes it's hard to give up what you created or even what you have. But I believe that when God whispers long enough and those whispers become very, very clear to go up, you need to give up to go up. And that's exactly what I'm doing here with the Roots, is in giving up the Roots so we can renovate this. And while it be a short-term uneasiness for me, I'm really excited for what is going to be going up here in 2026. Because the third thing is, in the vision of what's next, I'm working on it now. I'm speaking it into life in this podcast. And there's going to be more to come, hopefully in the near future. But I'm really, really excited for this this transition into the next phase, is reinvention, if you will. So what I want to do right now is I want to coach you. I'm just going to ask you 5 questions that you can track. If you see Reinvention Series over these next several weeks and months, I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but in this series, in coaching, here are my questions that you can answer. Look at the timestamp right now, and you can always go back and answer these questions. Number 1, have you ever moved from something that makes little or no sense to the outside world, but it feels so right on the inside world? Have you ever done that? Have you ever moved away from something or towards something that on the inside, it makes so much sense to you, but to sometimes the outside world, like, I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. For example, for some people, it might not make a lot of sense of like, why would you give up the roots or your office when you don't know exactly where you're going yet? Again, because God's telling me to do that, and I don't want to renew a 3-year lease when I know I don't want to be here for 3 years, because I do believe that there's going to be an Impact X performance in the near future in 2026. Trust in God, trust in Him, and the rest will take care of itself. So have you ever moved from something that makes little or no sense to the outside world, but it feels so right to you on the inside world? That's number 1. Number 2, have you ever been so scared to make a move that you deliberated for a while or even too long before making it? Have you ever made that move or wanted to make a move, but you deliberated? Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a hiring or a firing. Maybe you've had some people on your team that you know you need to get rid of, but you just haven't made the move for whatever reason. Have you ever wanted to expand or grow or manifest something and you don't have the time or the money or whatever excuse it may be, versus pulling the trigger and taking action? Ready, fire, aim, or ready, aim, 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 and you're still aiming 3 years later? Don't let that be you. If you're supposed to take action, take it today, even if you're scared. As a matter of fact, if you're scared, then that's even more reason to take it. Eat it. Eat that fear, baby. Because number 3, how does fear play out in your world? How does fear play out in your world? Does fear paralyze you, or does it propel you? Does it paralyze you, or does it crush you? How does fear play out? Now, fear could be false expectations appearing real, false evidence appearing real, right? It could mean that, right? False expectation appearing real. Maybe that is what fear is to you. Or it could mean face everything and rise. Face everything and rise up. Face everything head on through the storm, like the buffalo through the storm, not like the cattle who are going in reverse and the storm is following them. The buffalo go through the storm and go to the other side quicker than anyone else because they go through it. So face your storms today. Attack them. Don't let fear eat you up. It will envelop you. And guys, I'm aware of this because I've been privy to it in the past. So what is it? How does fear play out in your world? Does it paralyze you or does it propel you? I want it to propel you. Please face everything and rise today. Number 4 of my 5. What big decisions, big decisions are you making today that you know the answer inside, but you aren't making them? What are they? What are the big decisions? You know the answer inside, but you're not making them. Again, maybe because you're scared, maybe because you have an excuse, maybe because the timing is not right, whatever it is. Maybe it is, again, maybe it's an expansion, maybe it's an employee, maybe you want to sell your business, or maybe you want to acquire a business, or maybe you want to grow your business, or you want to invest in your business, or you want to invest in someone or some concept, or you want to invest in learning or education, but you keep finding an excuse why not to. How about finding an excuse to be in the room? Whatever it is, What big decisions are you making today that you know the answer inside, but you're not making them? I promise you, from experience, 25 years plus experience, make the decisions you need to make and watch what happens. Watch the momentum that happens in your life. Because number 5, and lastly, when are you going to make those decisions? And what is it going to happen? What is going to happen that will allow you to make them? When are you going to make the decisions, and what is going to happen that will allow you to make them? So, do you need more information? Do you need to talk to someone? Do you need a coaching session with me or anyone else? Do you need a certain date to happen or a contract to expire? Like, what has to happen in order for you to make those decisions? And when are you going to make the decisions, and what's it going to be? Take those 5, because you just looked at the timestamp. You're like, all right, I got to get these things done, and get them done. Answer them. I'd be honored. If you want to share them with me, please email them, text them to me. Y'all know my number. It hasn't changed. 619-304-2216. I will personally answer your text. Can't tell you, people like weekly, like, is this really you? Yeah, that's me. I will answer that. 619-304-2216. Text me. I will get back to you. Share your answers or email me. td@impactxperformance.com. td@impactxperformance.com. I will get back to you. Trust me. So, that being said, my friends, there you have it. My last podcast. Ever? No. Kinda? Yes. It's my last podcast right here in the roots of Fitness Quest 10. They're not going to stop. I'm still dropping them weekly. I'm going to still have this Reinvention Series be dropping here over the next several weeks and months. Not every week is always going to be a Reinvention Series podcast. So if it starts or has Reinvention 2.0 in it, then you know that it is all part of the story of the reinvention process. And probably like you, we're constantly reinventing ourselves, like I am reinventing myself. And I'm hoping and praying that as I tap into those whispers and I'm looking to grab an IXP, Impact X Performance in San Diego in 2026, that part of my reinvention with all of the coaching that I'm doing, from Montana to the life coaching, to the Get Your Mind Right mindset coaching, to the mastermind, it's coaching. That's my divine uniqueness, is coaching, is that this is all part of the puzzle. So thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. I love hearing from you, whether you post an Instagram story, you text me, you email me, you reach out at a conference or an event, or you attend an event and you share your story with me. It's not a mistake that I'm wearing my Live a Life Worth Telling a Story About shirt. Live a Life Worth Telling a Story About. What's your story? I love to learn your story and know your story. And as you go deeper in your own walk in reinvention as well, here to end 2025 in the next 3 or 4 months or so, and we get ready to go into 2026, I look forward to going deeper on all levels. And as always, the Todd Durkin Impact Show will always be real, always be authentic, and I'll always share with vulnerability. I love you guys. I thank you for listening today. Thank you for sharing, and I can't wait to see you next week. Until that time, remember, train hard, eat right, live inspired, and go create impact. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you next week.